James, any questions you have? Hopefully, you've gathered some little bit of questions about investing. Any questions you want to shoot at me? It doesn't matter how difficult they are. I think I can try to answer them for you.
I got 5 questions for you.
Okay, let's hear them.
All right, first one. What do you think is the most important principle or habit for a beginner investor to develop early on?
I think one of the most important aspects for a beginner investor is actually start and can stay consistent. Like you do cross country, it's the same exact principles. All you have to do is stay consistent. Of course, when you're first starting off, you're not going to be the best. When you start running, you're going to be super slow. But as long as you like keep consistently running, you'll get faster over time. So my channel name is Compound Investing. So basically, over time, if we use compounding charts, if you like, for example, if you just start with like $6 a day, and that's like the cost of Chipotle or Starbucks, right? So if you just contribute that amount over the long time, since you're like 18 years old, if you do that until like 50 years old, and then you're gonna have millions of dollars.
Hello, my name is James Loud. I am a freshman at California State Polytechnic University, Pomona. I am a civil engineering major, and I ran with Josh in high school. In your experience, what is a common mistake young or new investors tend to make, and how can I avoid it?
Okay, young investors. So specifically, you're talking. I'm gonna assume you're specifically talking about when they're young investors, so they have a large time span for them to actually start investing. The number I talked about on on one of my previous videos. Number one mistake of young investors is investing too safe. So what I mean by that, there's a lot of like YouTubers, like older YouTubers that are advocating for dividends or blue chip stocks or value stocks, which are inherently less risky and less volatile. But what we're doing is we're actually, it's like, for example, like Procter and Gamble, they make all like the consumer foods, and Johnson and Johnson, they're like they're sorry, hospital or healthcare company. So those companies are never gonna go away, and everybody uses them. So new investors get lumped into here and want to invest in these safe companies, but they actually underperform the regular index by by a lot year over year. So what happens is they invest in these safe companies because they're safe. So they're like because they fear a recession, and they're actually taking less volatility. So volatility is how much it goes up and down. So instead of it going up and down and going up more, they just take this little slow line that goes up, which consistency is good. But when we're young, we can actually handle the volatility because if it rocket market crashes, it's going to go up even more eventually in the long run. So we'd have to take these growth companies like um, like Google, like Amazon, like Meta. Just make sure that there's large cap quality companies and invest in growth. If you really wanted this all in one for growth, I would recommend SCHG, which is a growth ETF, which has a bunch of growth stocks in it. So for a young investor, I would definitely say the number one bad thing or the number one mistake is investing too safe and being afraid of recessions. You have to go into growth if you're young because you're going to make a lot more money, thousands of dollars in extra money.
Wow, I'll have to keep that in mind as I go through college. I'm making too much money, but I want my money to make money.
Yeah, exactly. To reiterate myself, these safe stocks are safe, but growth stocks, if you do it right in an ETF, it's gonna be safe. It's just gonna go down more. But the thing is, you have to play the long game. The stock market always goes up in the long term, and historically, if you hold your money for exactly 15 years, your time of losing money drops from 1 year from 46% to lose money all the way to basically zero. The stock market has never been down for a 15-year time period at all, and we assume that you make at least 10%. So that if you're assuming 8 to 10%, that's about 150% in those years. So you're basically doubling your money. You're doing a 2.5%, more than double your money, basically.
Wow, great, thank you. Can you share a time when an investment you made didn't go as planned, and what did you learn from it?
That was funny. That was actually funny because I was actually talking about this one with your dad during cross country season. So I was like, it was Tinu's company, PDD Holdings. So basically, what it was is I was really into because Amazon's my top holding. Because you watch my video, Amazon. I held 17.5% Amazon, $2,000 in Amazon. So I was like, I love this company so much. I'm gonna find something else that's similar to it. So boom, PDD Holdings. I see a bunch of news articles on how it's gonna explode. And being a young investor, I was like, okay. So I was looking at. I didn't have my fundamental my investing guide or my personal investing morals to know that I only invest in large monopolistic United States companies, so like the top dogs of the United States. So PDD Holdings was an international company. So I was already my first red flag. Of course, not all international companies are bad. I hold some like ASML and Brookfield, but the thing is, their business model wasn't like rock solid like Amazon's. Instead of focusing on quality products and actually a loyal customer base in like robotics, they were just focused on cheap products. So, and being something like that of all this hype around them, they actually ended up on earnings report. They actually ended up going down a lot, and I lost like 25% on them, and I had maybe like $900 in there. But the thing is, that was like a rookie mistake. So the thing is, it's okay to make mistakes when you start because you're not gonna have a ton of money. That $900 I put in and I lost like, let's say like a 100, 200 in there, is gonna be nothing in the long term when I have millions of dollars in my portfolio in the next 10, 15 years. So it's important to make mistakes and just not to be like let it discourage you, because even everybody makes mistakes.
All right. I think your first red flag should have been, it's called P Diddy Holdings.
No, PDD, not P Diddy, James.
It's not close enough.
Okay,
Close enough.
P Diddy Holdings. I guess we're going with that.
Alrighty. What sectors of investments do you think are especially promising for long-term growth right now?
Sectors. So I'm gonna give you a couple of the obvious ones, and then I'm gonna give you some of my hot takes. So sectors. Obviously, we have technology and growth. So basically, technology is going to outperform. Like we have the Nasdaq 100. If you didn't know, it's the top 100 technology stocks in the Nasdaq. But I don't really like that, for example, because it just picks the top companies, right? So they're the largest companies. So we can inherently have overvalued companies since tech has ran up so much. So like I said earlier, I'd recommend SCHG, Charles Schwab's Growth ETF, which what it does is it screens for 5 years of past and future growth. So we take those growth and technology companies, which is the growth ETF is inherently 50% technology because that's what's going to grow the most. So we take that and we actually screen for growth so we can kick out the overvalued companies. So I'll definitely, of course, say tech. But if you look at my portfolio, my Roth, you would say I don't have a lot of tech because it is overvalued. I like to pick and choose which companies I have. Definitely the semiconductor industry, but these are like wide. Picks. So if I was gonna pick a sector that I really love, that's really underrated, it's definitely the nuclear energy or like the utilities. So when I say utilities, I would say specifically nuclear energy, which is like renewable energy, there's other stuff like that, but specifically nuclear energy. What I'm talking about is Constellation Energy and Vistra. They've actually returned me over 100% in the last year. And while in something like Nvidia has just stayed stable and have not moved at all, basically what I did was I looked for, and when I was investing, I started investing. All tech was at a super high. So what I was doing, instead of investing directly in tech, I invested the money that I would have invested in tech, and I invested in nuclear companies that were funding tech. So so basically, if you didn't know, every time you say thank you to ChatGPT at the end, it costs OpenAI millions of dollars in energy just because you said that. That's how expensive it is to run these AI machines. And these nuclear energy plants, they're the only ones that can actually fuel this AI revolution and AI infrastructure. So people that build infrastructure, people that create nuclear energies, also cybersecurity stocks is another way you can get into technology. But just to let you know, cybersecurity. Like I got into cybersecurity and nuclear energy last year when it was actually a good price. Right now, they are really high overvalued, so it's kind of like iffy. The last one I'm gonna say, sorry, this is not really a sector, but I really like online consumer like retail platforms, like specifically Amazon and Melly. Basically, like I said, if they're gonna have a monopoly over the online retail game, and Melly is basically the Brazil version of Amazon, and that's not a sector, but I love it so much. But okay, I know I'm rambling for this one, but financials is one of my favorite sectors. Basically, tech is super overvalued, and financials are amazing companies. So what I mean by financials, I'm talking about MasterCard, Visa, S&P Global, Moody's, Equifax. Quick overview, MasterCard's business model is rock solid. Every time you spend money on a credit card, it's either MasterCard or Visa, boom, monopoly. Every time you buy something, MasterCard gets a percent fee based on that. So every time you pay your MasterCard pays a business a fee for you using that MasterCard, and nobody's not going to ever buy something. So financial companies are awesome. Boom. Next, S&P Global, which it's like, so you know how companies need money, right? So if they want to get money, they issue out debt to people. So, but the thing is, different companies have a different percentage of paying back. Like Google is going to have a different percentage of being able to pay back money compared to your small startup shop or like your small startup bakery. So let's say your bakery wants to get money, but they don't want to sell stock, or they don't want to pay taxes on it. So what they would do is they issue out debt, and consumers pay them money for interest rates they're going to pay back. But that bakery shop has a way lower percent chance to pay the money back since they're a startup. So their interest rate's going to be a lot higher when they give the money back to the customer, because if they do succeed, they're going to grow more. Well, Google, they're going to pay you back, so you get a really low interest rate for that. And also S&P Global and like these financial companies deal with debt, and the higher amount of debt in the United States, it's better. But I'm not going to get into that now. Financial companies are amazing.
Wow, thank you. I have to look into those, definitely.
Of course.
That is the end of my questions.
All right. Okay, so now I want to have a couple of questions for you as a beginner investor. So I know you asked me a couple questions you had, which is actually going to help our audience in knowing like that I'm actually legit and I know what I'm talking about. I'm not scripting anything. And also it may help somebody that's looking to get investing. They might have some of these questions themselves. But for you, I'm going to ask, what made you interested in investing in the first place? Like, why do you want to invest, and what are your goals for the future of investing?
I currently have some stocks right now. Most notably, I've had a Nike stock since 2007.
Also,
I actually have the stock certificate on my wall.
Oh yeah, I see it. Because it was actually a father that bought it for you, right? So that's where you.
It's my father
first
bought it
started
in
out.
my name, so I own the Nike stock, and I'm investing the dividends.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, James.
Back in Nike stock. I also have a few others. I have a lot. My father invested a lot into the stock market. He's talked to you about a lot about it, and he talked to me a lot about it. And honestly, as eventually I'll leave college and go into the workforce, and I want to use that money to make more money.
Of course.
I want to be able to get a nice house, to be able to have a nice life and stuff like that. I'm not saying money is happiness, but it helps.
Yeah, of course, money isn't happiness, but like what we want to reiterate is, the word financial freedom. So when we talk about investing, this obviously isn't the one ticket way to get Jeff Bezos rich. Of course, the number one way to get rich is to increase your income. So work hard. Investing is the easy part if you know how to do it. So just work hard in your life, try to increase your income. Of course, you're an engineer. If you end up being an engineer, you're gonna be making some of that big bucks, which I know is probably your goal. So you're gonna be focusing on that, and on the side, if you invest money, you're gonna, instead of keeping your money and losing it to inflation, you're actually gonna be beating inflation and saving up for retirement. So what basically, you said money doesn't buy happiness, but basically, when you don't have to worry about money and you have this money to spend on whatever you want, and you don't have to you can be carefree, like that's what brings really happiness when you bring your time back, and you bring your worry stress-free life back, and you can actually retire early with this. Okay, next. James, do you feel overwhelmed with the amount of investing information out there right now?
There is a lot of information from a lot of different sources, so sometimes you're like wondering, like, is this actually right, or is this person just rambling and has no clue what they're talking about?
Yeah, makes sense. Obviously, I know what I'm talking about, but there is certain people, not gonna name anybody, but there is questionable people out there. First, I'm getting started. I'm on the younger side, so I would actually understand the inherent distrust. But if you want, you can trust me for money. But it's whatever. Okay. Okay. So I need a question on the spot. Is there any like investing like terms or investing models or anything, just like one technical thing about investing that you're unsure of, or one thing you actually wanted to learn about, and maybe I can help you now just understand really quickly?
I do not have anything. You're asking me off the top of my head.
No, okay. Okay, for the viewers, really quick, James, do you know what a Roth IRA is?
I've heard of it.
Well, okay. Let
Don't
me
know
just
what it is.
explain it for the viewers. So basically, of course, when you get an investing journey, when you want to get serious into this, like when you start actually getting a real job and you're like, oh, I want to start in investing, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna open a Roth IRA. Since you're 18, you can do this yourself. I made a video on how to actually open it. Basically, what it is, it's a tax-free savings. So you basically know, James, on your income, you pay tax, right?
Yes.
On your income, it's like 50% after capital gains and income tax.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. So basically, what a Roth IRA is, it's a way to avoid the IRS. Don't we love not paying taxes, James?
I hate the taxes.
I
We
pay
do not like the
taxes.
tax.
So basically, what it is the government assumes you make at least $7,000 a year if you work. So when you have a job, you're gonna put that on your Roth IRA. And if you're under 18, your parents have a job, so they're gonna fill it out for you since you can't own an account yet. Since you're actually not 18 yet. When you turn, wait, I forgot.
I'm 18.
Oh, you're 18. Sorry, I'm losing my mind here. But basically what it is $7,000 at least. You put it in and you don't get taxed on it because the government assumes you made it from your job, so it's already post-tax. And then usually on a regular account, when you take it out, you're gonna pay taxes on your gains. So if you have multi-millions of dollars on it, you're gonna pay multi-millions of dollars of taxes. So in retirement, you could be forced to pay thousands of dollars, like 30% of your entire everything made, just because you're not using a Roth IRA. But with a Roth IRA, even though it limits you on what you can put in, $7,000 over the next 30 years is like $2.2 million if you do it right. So basically, what you do is you put it in here, and if you take it out, and you're saving millions of dollars potentially just by using a Roth IRA. So if you really want to get serious and you want to open your first, if you want to open your first self-directed investment account, definitely look into a Roth IRA. And if you're really having trouble, Mr. Loud should be able to help you. I'll help you too if you're really interested into it. I've helped. Actually Monday I might be going over to Matthew's house, and I'm gonna invest $7,000 into his Roth IRA live, actually helping him do that. So.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
So and then last question for you: if you were to open your own Roth IRA right now, do you know what you would actually put it in to actually invest in the market, or no?
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. I have to do some research and find out the best thing to do.
Yeah, of course. I'll actually just tell you like a little hint right now. Basically, the best thing is to do. You're young. You're 18. So basically, I'm exactly the same thing I'm doing for Matthew. We want the like I see everybody raving about the S&P 500. It's the baseline. It's gonna get you about 8 to 10%. So what you want to do is put about 40% of your $7,000 in there, which is gonna return you 8 to 10%. And then next, you're going to do SCHG, which is a growth ETF. Because since you're young, I said you want to stay away from safe stuff and go into growth. That's going to give you about 12 to 15%, which is higher on average. So on average, in the long run, you probably average around 11, 12%. Realistically, being realistic, I'll probably say 8 to 10, but I like to say 11 and 12. You're going to put it 60% in SCHG and half in S&P 500 ETF specifically. There's a lot of good videos on that, but that's personally what I would do. I'm actually posting a video today at 12 p.m. on this exact topic, James. Make sure to go watch it or save it.
I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah, okay. But just make sure just to ETFs. If you really into stock investing, I understand. I am too. Make sure you have ETFs at least 50% of your portfolio, because that's really what's gonna compound at a safe rate, regardless of what you hold. All right. You got it?
All right. Yeah.
All right, James. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to actually come on here and actually reaching out to me to say, "Oh, I want to come on here to help." You said help a brother out, right? I know you probably have plans. You're gonna get on your little running. He is a great runner, guys. He's our team captain. Lots of respect for this man. He's probably gonna continue at a running club at Cal Poly Pomona. So best of luck to him as investment journey. Make sure, James, to reach out to me if you really need help anything in your investing journey. Is there anything you want to say to the audience before we go?
Click that like button and subscribe to Josh Engel, the Compound Investor.
Yes, sir, bro. All right. Thank you so much for your time, James.